Hi Drama 70 class, my name is Adriana Gallardo and I'm going to do my oral presentation for you guys. In my opinion, all of the movies that we've watched in class so far have been very new, very interesting to me personally. The movie that I chose to do my presentation on is Walkabout from our survival films unit, and I am choosing this movie because when I was watching this film, I was constantly wondering what was going to happen next, why things were happening when they did, and just the whole plot in general. It just really kind of intrigued me the most. It was as strange as it was intriguing for me. One part of the film that caught my eye the most was the cinematography and the editing of the film visually. So that's what I will be focusing on in my presentation. I think this was what sets the movie apart from the other survival films we watched in class, because it was an older film. It was set in the Australian outback desert, and it was edited in such a way that each scene helped kind of tie the feel of the movie together. You really put yourself in these kids' shoes. In the beginning of the film, a father tries to murder his two children, a 16-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. The kids do manage to get away, and they have to survive the harsh deserts alone to escape the fear of going back to see what happened to their father. They travel far and wide and encounter many dangers along the way in nature, and physical dangers as well. They have to find shelter, water, and food with little to no tools to help them. The 16-year-old is wise and knows how to manage her and her brother's care as they wander through the burning heat. So she lets him know along the way, if you don't wear your shirt, you're going to get sunburned really bad, and that's going to hurt. And that will also, damage your skin in the long term. Also, when they find water, they have to make sure they use the water wisely and also make sure they have enough to hydrate for themselves. When the kids first start their survival journey, the cameraman does an excellent job paneling the vast desert. Paneling means that the camera is at one angle and moves from one side to another to show how big something is. So the cameraman does this particular kind of shot to show that there is nothing for miles and miles but just desert and sand and dust. This puts a feeling of nervousness in the audience watching this, as the kids are just looking out to nothing. I was thinking, wow, this is crazy. How in the world is she going to know where to go get the things that she needs? When on their travels, they come across a young Australian Aborigine man who is killing animals and finding water and using the land as he needs the help for. Desperate for the help, the young girl asks for his help along their way and journey and asks if they could tag along with him. But there is a big language barrier and they have to solely rely on body communication. As tough as it is, the kids make it work though. The little brother ends up becoming close to the native man, and the native ends up teaching him a lot of valuable knowledge and skills on how to survive in the Australian outback, which was really interesting to see. He teaches them how to find water, food, and he makes them the shelter every night so that they don't get killed, basically. But being a young man and her being a young woman, there was bound to be some attraction happening in the plot. And even though this scene to me was pretty disturbing, I felt it was pretty important to note it. The cinematographer and editing team captured the essence of the young girl's female form, so basically her body and what makes her female. And they do back and forth shots, so they go from her naked body to shots of trees that could resemble parts of her body, and that resemble certain aspects of her femininity. The scene is creatively showing the audience what the young man is seeing when he is in nature and has seen in the young girl. So he's very attracted to her, and kind of anywhere he's looking, he sees, female form, and he's attracted by it. As the audience, I found this disturbing to watch the scene unfold because I did not know what the intention was at first for this scene and why it was happening. But then, as the movie went on, I then realized that it was about nature turning into strong feelings for somebody. One last scene I feel is important to note about the cinematography and editing of this film is the killing of the cow towards the end. When the kids find an old barn and farmhouse where people live around, there's farms all around and livestock. There's a herd of cows in a field, and there's a couple of farmers that shoot the cow to death because it was of no use to them anymore. The young native man goes out into the field to find the cow that was recently killed. He takes a tool and starts cutting the cow open. The cameraman goes from close-up shots to wide shots to show what he's doing and how messy this whole process is. There's tons of blood pouring out of this cow, and the flesh is very heavy. It's very gross. If you have a light stomach, don't watch that part. To the audience, this was a scene to show how this native uses what the farmers consider trash, and he uses it very wisely, so he didn't think that this cow was just waste. Walkabout was a very strange story from the beginning to the end, but thanks to the cinematography and the editing team, each scene was interesting and helped show this movie as creative as it is a weird story. So thank you for watching my presentation.